The Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast is dedicated to all things Horus Heresy. This podcast delves into the grimdark universe where Primarchs clash, legions rise, and loyalties fracture faster than a Land Raider's track. But it's not just about the lore of the Horus Heresy. The Accountabilibuddies also explore the gaming side of things, from painting and modeling tips to product reviews and ideas to help you in your hobby. So, whether you're a seasoned Forge World veteran or a fresh-faced scout, this podcast is your Vox channel to the galaxy. Expect discussions on lore, modeling, gaming, and maybe even the shenanigans that your hosts somehow seem to find their way into. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there are only two things you can count on: heresy and your trusty Accountabilibuddies.
And welcome to episode 140 of Heresy Accountabilibuddies. This episode is brought to you probably by caffeine. Definitely bad decisions. But before we get too far into our caffeine and bad decisions, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Jack, and I'm with
Duncan
and John
and Jack. Before we get too far into it, let's do a quick station identification.
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HERESYABB at checkout.
Station identification. And thank you to our patrons. With you, we can make Duncan play Ultramarines. But before we go too far down that route, John, do you want to kick us off on hobby progress?
Yeah, so this week was a little short work-wise because of Comedy Day, but that gave me a lot of extra time to work in the garage. So I had this old metal shelf that Christina and I had put up, so I went ahead and disassembled that. Got everything on that moved to the truck so I could kind of hold it in there for the next few hours and days while I worked on the rest of the garage. And then got a 4x2 IKEA, or no, 4x4 IKEA set up, and then a 2x2 put on top of that. And then noticed I kind of had some extra room on either side of the garage, so I got everything shifted down, and I got a whole another 3x3 out there. So now I have 18x6 IKEA storage in my garage. On along one wall, I'm slowly kind of moving everything around out there to kind of refill it and get everything situated the way I like it. Some of the larger stuff that was originally on that metal shelf still doesn't fit on the IKEA shelf, so I've been kind of finding spaces for like the paint thinner and things like that that just kind of take up too much room in an IKEA shelf, and just been kind of redoing a lot of that stuff. Outside of that, I've been working through some of the terrain that I've been coming across. So some of the stuff I thought would be a quick build would be the Age of Sigmar kits that I picked up pretty cheap for their Warcry game. I forget what it's called. I think it's like Gallow Dark or something, where it's all the kind of foresty looking stuff, with skulls and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I've been going through and building a lot of that stuff. I had a broken Lizardman head. I built a couple of those, and I had one built a long time ago. And then today I've been working on all the little barricades that they come with that are like 5 or 10 parts a piece, depending on which one you're building. And then I built the see what they call it, because I call it a giant pain in the ass. They call it a hollow refuge, and it's basically a giant vertebrae with a charnel pit in the bottom and a couple walkways on top. That thing was like 40 parts, and it's the size of a 5-inch plastic plate. So
Okay.
this terrain looks cool. It's just a giant pain in the ass to build. So that's what I've really been working on. I also picked up some spray paint so I can paint all this stuff up fairly quick with some browns and some stuff to keep it all together, and also tie it in with some of the other Age of Sigmar terrain, the other Lizardmen terrain that I've painted before. So just trying to get more tables done for my January event. That looks like it's going to be changing locations. Dallas Games Marathon has moved. They're kind of in progress of moving right now. And this month's event that normally will be taking place on the 20th of September at that store is going to be taking place TBD. The store owner said he's going to get back to me this week with where we're going to be holding that. And be sure to check out the North Texas Heresy 30K Facebook page to find out where we'll be hosting that this month, because everything's kind of up in odds right now. But hopefully next month it'll be back to normal wherever we end up kind of finding an eventual home. But that's where the January event will be moving to now. What about you, Jack? What have you been up to?
I have been kicking it over to Duncan.
So Jack's been very busy this week, and he's done a lot of work. So just roughly telling everyone what Jack has done this week. He has built 4 Sons of Horus. He built and painted an entire Emperor's Children army that he would be taking to Adepticon. He did that Tuesday. Nothing but that on Tuesday. Somehow he got all of it done in less than 8 hours because he also worked and slept that day. So that's what Jack did. What I did was nothing near as productive as Jack because I didn't get a whole army printed in 8 hours. He is just a machine. He really is.
Which means
Everyone should have a pocket Jack just for their sheer hobby workhorse ability. This week I worked on my tanks. I got more work done on the Predator, and I got more work done on the Laser Vindicator. The Predator, I've got my decals down on. I've got those sealed. I've got my OSL glow down. I've got pretty much everything at the moment done that I'm planning on doing on it, except for the final stages of weathering and then the final seal. Maybe a slight bit more touch work on the thermal cannon's heat bloom from its gun. I'm not sure on that part yet, but it's workable. It's 100% ready to go. I just want to do more to actually have it be, in my mind, perfect for what I want it to be. So just a little bit more work there. Probably actually have that done Monday evening, maybe. I'm not 100% certain. Then I can finish work on the or get back to finishing the work on the Laser Vindicator. After that, next up on the table after these two are done, which should be done by the end of this week, is my hope. I'll be able to then transition over and start working on a batch of 10 tacks, then maybe 20 tacticals. I'm not sure yet. One of the two. But I'll be using the new Mark II out of the wonderful set we just got and figuring out from there. Since it's only the three of us this eve, I think that covers hobby progress. John, why don't you take us to the news? And when you do, tell us all about that new art plate that I'm probably going to have to buy and put on my wall.
I will do that. That is definitely part of the news. But first off, we got to cover the things that GW officially dropped. So this week saw the release of a few things. So we saw last week the preview of Lysander, Raven Guard Combat Patrol, the Raven Guard character, and the official release of some of the 40K Knights. Seems like these guys kind of had a stealth price increase. 194. I don't remember them being that much before, but I'm getting old. And then the dice sets hit, so the Raven Guard, Imperial Fists, and Knight dice all came up for pre-order. Speaking of price increases, we saw this a little bit, that GW is going to officially increase prices on October 6th, 2025. For the most part, it looks like most box sets are kind of going up one rung, so roughly 4%. So $80 boxes are becoming 85. Books and hobby products seem to be staying the same cost. So kind of good because they're already not that competitive, so it's not that bad that they're not moving prices. For next week's releases, we've got the previews of the Age of Sigmar Chaos Dwarves. It comes with a really cool decal sheet that might be good for Iron Warriors or Imperial Fists, depending on what you're going for there, with some kind of rugged and runic things in there. Necromunda is getting a bunch of releases that'll help out your militia plans. So we've got the Enforcers, Captains, and Sergeants new box set that's coming out. The Palatine Enforcer weapons and upgrades. Palatine Enforcer haunts if you need some rogue psychers. And Palatine Companions. And then to help out with the Beastmen unit, there's the Ashwing Helamites. Which looks like some creepy little doom bugs. And then obviously the dice set and cards that are going to come out with the Necromunda Enforcers. Made to order, we're getting a bunch of old Space Wolves that can be really good for using conversions for your 30k armies, since most of these guys are already in kind of older armor marks. And that's really it from official GW for next week. This week, we were nice enough to be blessed with the Demons of the Runestorm PDF.
Was that this week?
That was this week.
It was Monday of this week, I believe.
Yeah, we got Militia last week, Demons this week.
Yep, I'm not going to complain. It's definitely not Heresy Thursday, but it's very welcome.
Yeah, I went through and added all of the special rule or the war gear and the weapons to the Google Doc that I've been working on for everybody, so you can pull those up in there. I'm not a big demon player, but I did like the fact that all the base sizes are listed in there, and it's no longer like a set base size. It's like a base size range now. So you can kind of get an idea of what should be in there. And then obviously tells you the special rules on how to use them and what special upgrades they get, things that should be corn themed and things that should be Zinch themed, etc., etc. GW is also hosting a giveaway. So if you sign up for their newsletter, you're entered to win a Joy Toy Night. So no purchase necessary as long as you're getting their emails by the end of September. Kind of nice to see them giving away stuff like that. Space Marine 2 celebrated its 1 year anniversary and got a giant update. New PvE game mode, new Hellbrute stuff for PvP. Got some cosmetic updates as well as a giant super boss in the form of a Mutalith demon. And then Black Templar updates are coming shortly, as well as a bunch of different of their offshoot chapters.
Okay.
This plate has been teamed up with GW for a while, but they recently added a new tag for Horus Heresy artwork. And to go along with that, we saw a few new pieces of artwork drop. The first one that Duncan definitely likes the most is the Triptych Left. So this is 3 pieces of artwork that all have to do with the Solar War and kind of what's going on there. This one is Karn versus Sigismund. You can get this in gloss or texture print. Oh, I didn't see that before. That's kind of hot. I've got a bunch of their texture art prints before. They're really nice when the sun hits them just right, especially when they're in gloss, and the size kind of changes. And obviously, the larger and more fancy you get, the more expensive they get.
Yep. It's okay. I can handle that.
Triptych Center is Sanguinius versus Angron in demon form.
Yeah, that's another really nice one.
And then Triptych Right is just some Blood Angels at the Siege fighting some Khorne demons.
Yep, I can dig that one too.
These are all beautiful pieces of artwork. Obviously, again, they kind of start smallest and most bland version is $55. And if you get the textured large version, it goes all the way up to $130, depending on how you want to get it set up. I will say with this plate, they don't really announce when they're retiring stuff. So if you want it, I would recommend getting it sooner rather than later. Some things just disappear sometimes. Warhammer merch is running a sale right now, 15% off when you buy 3 t-shirts, hoodies, notebooks, posters, and mugs together. I sent this out on an email. The coupon code is bundle up. But other than that, they didn't really have any new releases this week. Star Forged came out with a fancy new necklace. Jack,
Jesus
reaction to
Christ.
price. Thank you. For
Wait, hold on.
290.
That, I mean, does it do anything for the $300 you're spending, or is it just
It empties your wallet.
It rotates. It's a little.
okay?
It's called the Mechanicus Phylactery of the Pious. It's a little gear with a bunch of little. It's a big gear with a bunch of Mechanicum symbols on it, held by a servo skull, and then you rotate that, and the little gears turn as the thing rotates.
Give me a second.
Okay.
I have a thought on that. See here, just got typey real fast.
And it's not even stainless. It's not even silver. It's just stainless steel.
Silver and stainless steel. The symbol itself. This is all silver. The necklace is stainless steel.
Oh, okay.
28 grams of silver.
So for that, you can see here for, was it $297?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let me back up one trim level. I guess back up one trim level. So for an extra, what is that going to be? An extra $25, you can buy yourself an Elgu Saturn 3.
Or you could buy another box of Saturnine. Yep. That's. I mean, it's impressive. It definitely is,
Okay.
but
Like I've said before, $100 for a necklace is expensive, but that's kind of what you kind of expect to pay at a jewelry store. $300 for a necklace, kind of getting out there.
oh well. I mean, it's what it is. It's definitely a thing.
And then finally, the YouTuber Major Kill has his own 3D printing service. About a year and a half ago, it's almost 2 years ago now, he released the Emperor sculpt that he sells exclusively through his web store. And starting on September 8th, he's going to be releasing the Big E Mark II. Just a really big Emperor sculpt, comes in a bunch of different scales, comes with 4 different heads. You've got helmetless, you've got a Alexander the Great looking head, you got a skull face, and more custodian looking helmet.
This is for the file or physical?
Physical.
That's a mighty big model.
Yeah, the physical scales come in what they call tabletop scale, which it had prices before, but I don't know what happened to them. Anyway, tabletop scales, roughly Primark sized. I believe that one was around $70. You get kind of an art scale, which is closer to almost Demon Angron scale.
Demon Angron or Demon Magnus scale, yeah.
And then there's a 1/12 scale version, which is about a little over a foot tall. And then obviously the largest is the 1/6 scale, which they're only making 20 of, which I believe was in the range of $5,000 US.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I need to get a $5,000 1/6 scale model, but it's cool.
Yeah, I definitely liked a lot of the additions they've made compared to some of the artwork. It's like there's a little on his shoulder shield. This is the Big E version 1 here. You can see it's just the shoulder shield, whereas in the number 2, he's replaced it with, it looks like it's like a guy stabbing. It's the St. Michael painting right here on his shoulder. St. George slaying the dragon is kind of right here where his shoulder shield would be.
Which in the lore is actually the Emperor, so yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of little additions like that. There's a little guy back here kind of casting a magic psychic power. There's a bunch of little embellishments that aren't really true to the GW artwork, but kind of fit in line with some of the lore that I like.
Okay.
That have been added to this.
Interesting.
Something to look at. We won't talk about how Major Kill is or any of the weird ass controversies that go along with YouTubers, but it's a cool model if you want to look at it. That's really all the news this week. Not a ton coming out. A couple people had rumored that we were going to see some of the plastic releases this week, but not yet.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, no plastic releases for us means, I guess that means we don't have them. So, no Mark II jump packs for me yet. Oh well. Soon, hopefully. Shall we move on to tonight's meat and potatoes?
Sure.
Or do you have anything else?
What is tonight's meat and potatoes?
Well, I was thinking, based on what we talked about last time, that we were going to be working or discussing Word Bears and Raven Guard tonight.
Okay. Exciting.
Yeah. Especially since all of us love Word Bears so much. John, would you care to go first with the Raven Guard, or would you like me to go first with the Word Bears?
I can take the Raven Guard. So
Very good, since I don't have that book.
Yeah, since before we dive into some of their units, let's kind of touch on what the Legacies PDF added. When we get to more Dethroned squads, they were added to the ability to add. Sorry, my thing is zoomed out a little bit on my. There we go. They added the ability for any model in the unit to take Charm Ball Sabers or Power Weapons. And then any model in the unit may have its Nemesis Bolter exchanged for a Legion Convi Weapons. And then for every 3 models in the unit, one model may change its Nemesis Bolter for a Plasma Pistol, Volkite Charger, Flamer, Plasma Gun, Melta Gun, or Missile Launcher. And then the Shade can select Melta Bombs. So I know a lot of people were hoping for Raven's Talons to be sprinkled liberally throughout the units, like a lot of other people got, but this Legacy's change was really just to add a couple of weapon options to the more Dethroned squads themselves. For Raven Guard, they really have one of the stronger rights of war in Shadow Walkers. So whenever you're shooting at a Raven Guard unit, and the closest model is further than 18 inches away, all of your shots, 18 inches or greater, all of your shots are snapshots. This works really well in the first couple turns of the game, obviously, but later in the game, a lot of your kind of heavy weapon squads and support squads are going to be able to claim near immunity to some of the shots that are coming back at you, especially conversion beamer predators and things like that. Their Gambit allows the model to make a single attack first, followed by the remainder of their attacks if the first attack is successful. So you make one basic attack, and then at the current strike step, and then at the end of the strike step, you make all of your other attacks, minus that obviously single attack you've already made. If either the hit test or the wound test made for the initial attack are not successful, the model for which the skin is selected may not make the attacks at the later step. So it allows you to kind of jump the gun if you think that you could kind of decapitation strike someone, or if you've got a thunder hammer where you could go ahead and swing in there a little quicker. You don't have to worry about making a focus roll. You just automatically hit first. Or automatically strike first. You gotta obviously roll to hit one. Their detachment is 2 recon squads and 2 elite squads, and the recon squads in this detachment, you can only select recon squads, and the elite squads in this detachment can only be veteran assault or dark fury squads. So they're kind of obviously pushing you in a certain direction for how you want to be able to build your Raven Guard army. Like we said, the recon squad sitting back there with Nemesis rifles will really help when combined with your Rite of War to make it so you're not as shot as easily. Your advanced reaction is Shadow Veil. Allows the reacting unit to make a move when it's targeted by a shooting attack and gains a damage mitigation roll. So you're allowed to make a normal move, but may not increase your movement by a rush. If the unit is no longer in line of sight, the active player may not select an alternative target for the attacking unit during the shooting phase. And then once the player has resolved the move, all models in the reacting unit gain a 5-up shrouded save. So it can be pretty handy if you're sitting next to some line of sight blocking terrain or area terrain, depending on how you play, and to kind of jump out of the way and make your enemy kind of give up one of their larger shooting attacks. And that's only for 1 reaction cost. They have access to the Raven's talents, so any model with the command subtype and the Raven Guard trait may have its Lightning Claws exchanged for Raven's talents for free. Any model with a command subtype may have a single Lightning Claw may have a free Raven's Talon, or a pair of Lightning Claws may have a pair of Raven's Talons. The Raven's Talons are Impact Initiative modifier, Rending 6-up, Breaching 6-up, AP 3, Damage 1. Basic Lightning Claws with that initiative modifier is pretty nice. They can take a Corvid patterned jump pack for 10 points apiece on their Praetor, Centurion, Opte, or Mortat. And anytime they take a dangerous terrain test, they automatically pass it. That's really all it does. And it costs 10 points a model on those lines. They have the special prime advantage Wraiths. After you make a rush move with a unit that includes only models with a special rule, you may choose to make a willpower check. If it succeeds, the selected unit in the assault phase of the following player's turn, if you charge it, you're disordered.
Any enemy unit that charges the unit that made the willpower check, right?
Yes. The downside is if you fail the willpower check, you gain stunned.
Ooh.
So make sure, since that's a prime bonus, make sure you've got somebody in there with a high willpower.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's great for tacticals because it's going to stop them from getting moved off of something by people once they score something, but oof.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a beast. That's a heck of a check too. Willpower is not one of the ones that commonly gets buffed normally. So okay.
Yeah. Their fancy elite unit is the Mordathans. They come as 5 men for 175. You can buy an additional for 30 points a model. They come stock with a Nemesis Bolter and Cameo Line. They can infiltrate 8. They have Fatal Strike, move through cover, and support Unit 1. They can swap out for a shotgun for free or the other weapons I read earlier that were updated in the legacies. Cameo Line says that if the target model, if the attacker is more than 12 inches or greater away, you gain a Shrouded 5-up. And if you already have Shrouded, you modify it by 1 to a maximum of 4-up.
Not bad at all.
And then once per battle, if the unit remains stationary, you can choose to make a Fatal Strike during the shooting phase. When making a Fatal Strike, you add +2 to the ballistic skill characteristics of all model in the unit.
And that's once per game.
Once per game, but they're already ballistic skill 5, so you're shooting at ballistic skill 7.
So that means you critically hit on a 5-up.
Yeah.
Ooh. 10 sniper rifles. 10 sniper rifles means on average you're going to have 2 or 3 AP2 Jesus. Yeah, that's nasty. That's a great way to pick out characters and kill them. If you can get precision. If you don't have precision, it's still a great way to shoot character models out of a or hefty models out of a unit. that you need to get
Yeah.
killed.
Yeah, they're 2 wounds with a 3-up save, like normal. Most elite units are. They've also got the Dark Fury squad, so that's 5 guys for 175, can take 5 additional at 30 points apiece. Movement 14, weapon skill 5, 2 wounds, 3 attacks base, 3-up save. They can deep strike and have precision 6-up, and they all come with a pair of Raven's Talons and Corvid pattern jump packs, so don't have to worry about the dangerous terrain. And if they're up to 10 models, they can choose a character called Chooser of the Slain for an additional 5 points, and the character can have Melt the Bombs for 10. The character just adds extra leadership, makes them leadership 9. Honestly, I don't really see the character upgrade being that necessary, especially because you can only take them if you're 10 models.
Do they get anything else?
Nope. No options, no nothing else.
So they just come geared as the whole unit already is.
Yeah, just
And they
talents,
take...
Dragon Crack, and jump packs, and the special jump pack. Yeah.
They can't get prime, so you can't turn the sergeants into anything special. Okay.
Well, they're an elite unit, so if you've got an elite choice, you could take the whatever prime that is, whatever prime you want. But yeah, I don't see them needing that thing. And that's really, there are only 2 units, the Mordathan and the Dark Furies. So moving on from that, we've got Katie's next. He walks in at a whopping 165, movement 8, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 6, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks, leadership 9, cool 8, willpower 8, intelligence 8, 3-up, 5-up.
Weapon skill what again?
5.
Okay. And you said ballistic skill 8? I swear to God, I heard something one of those 2 skills was on 8.
Movement 8.
Oh, okay.
Skill,
Never mind.
weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 6.
Never mind. I swear to God, I thought I heard an 8, and I was like, Jesus, he's the best duelist I know of.
No, he comes with 2 special cannons though. So he's got the Fulcrum hand cannons. He can use them in shooting and melee. In shooting, they're 12-inch range, 5 shots, strength 6, AP 4, damage 1. Heavy firepower, so if he doesn't move, he's getting 6 shots, breaching 6 up, stun 0. And in combat, they're +1 attack, so you're swinging 4 attacks, strength 6, AP 2, damage 1, and shred 5 up. And he also has the cameo line that we read earlier.
Okay.
And then he's got a special rule called the Blood Crow. He always uses his full ballistic skill and reduces the effectiveness of enemy damage mitigation rolls. Damage mitigation rolls are only successful on a 6-up, regardless of Shrouded X or whatever rules they may have to the contrary.
Okay. Would it also then be... How does it word it?
A model with this special rule is never forced to make a shooting attack as snapshots and may never have its ballistic skill modified to less than 6 unless the target unit has the flyer subtype. Additionally, any shrouded damage mitigation rolls made against wounds inflicted by a shooting attack made by a model with this special rule are only effective or only successful on a roll of 6+, regardless of the variant of Shrouded X, special rule the selected target has, or any special rules to the contrary.
So he doesn't snap shoot at flyers when he reacts?
He snap shoots only at flyers.
Does it say specifically only at flyers?
Yep.
Oh. All right. All right. Well, that's still a heck of a more attack.
Yeah. Yeah, with his hand cannons, I could see him just chunking out a bunch of stuff. I mean, stun 0 isn't great, but it's still just making people take checks.
Yeah, I mean that's right there. It's gonna be good.
He's also
And
got
it-
infiltrate 8 and precision 5 up. So I mean, he's going along right side those other units that we read.
And his hits, I mean, on 6s that are breaching, you're also getting critical hits on those. So because he's ballistic skill 6, so that's nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at all.
No.
Okay. Any other characters, or just off to Chorus or Corvus?
So we've got Corvus, and then we've got the Legacies units.
Okay, you want to
So
give
Legacies-
us the Legacies, guys? Yeah.
Yeah, Legacies brings us the Deliverers. This was their I forget what that PDF thing was called, the Exemplary Battles PDF.
Yes.
So these guys are a 0 to 1 choice. You get 1 deliverer or 1 chieftain and 4 deliverers for 215 points. You can take up to 10 additional deliverers at 40 points apiece. Their weapon skill 5, 2 wound, 3 attacks base with a 2 up, 4 up. Remember, these are their fancy Terminators. Bulky 2, Implacable Advance, Slow and Purposeful. Vanguard 3 is nice. Deep Strike and Corax's Shame. For every 5 models in the unit, 1 model in this unit may have a Heavy Flamer, Multi-Melta, or Reaper Autocannon. You can swap your power weapon for a Power Fist or Chain Fist. You also come with a Combi Bolter. You can swap out for any combi weapon you want. And you can swap out your combi weapon and power weapon and combi bolter for Raven's Talons for 10 points apiece. And then their special rule says that they cannot be joined by Corvus Corax. Additionally, reserve rolls made for a unit that includes models with this special rule are modified by -1 if there's a friendly Corvus Corax who's also in reserves at the start of that subphase.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Yeah, so it's a basic kind of Fracty Terminator unit with the added benefit of throwing in Raven's Talons.
Yeah, it's kind of what it sounds like. Weapon skill 5, right?
Yeah.
So you could
And
then
3 attacks base. So you're looking at 5 attacks with the pair of claws. So you're shredding through anything you want.
Yeah. Are they're Tartaros armor, right?
2 up, 4 up.
Oh, so they're actually cataphracty.
It doesn't say either way in the fluff unit. It's just Terran veterans and the Shadow of the Luna Wolves. And they have slow and purposeful.
Yep,
Yeah,
so they're
I guess
cataphracty.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's realistically that's a lot of shred. And a lot of attacks at weapon skill 5 that can be even better because of their Raven Guard claw thing. So I'd call that a win. I'd call that a winning unit.
If nothing else, just deep strike them in the opponent's backfield. Very scary unit.
Yep.
Or a
Definitely
couple claws
agreed
on a 5 or 10 man unit, and maybe an autocannon or something to just kind of annoy people with.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a pretty good distraction. And if they ignore it, they'd be a really nasty distraction.
And so that brings us to Corvus Corax for 440 points. Movement 16 makes him one of the quickest Primarchs. Weapon skill 7, ballistic skill strength, toughness, wounds, initiative, and attacks are all 6s. Leadership 12, cool 10, willpower 10, intelligence 10, and he's a 2 up, 4 up. He comes with bulky 6, Shadowed Lord, Sire of the Raven Guard, Eternal Warrior 2, and Deep Strike. And he has anti-grav, obviously, because he's got a jump pack. His weapons, he's got Wrath and Justice, which is a 14-inch 6-shot, strength 5, AP 4, damage 1, breaching 6 up assault weapon. He's got a special bullwhip that can be used in combat. He swings at initiative modifier 4, so he's initiative 10 with the whip.
Jesus.
It's an extra 3 attacks, so it's 9 attacks at his base strength 6, AP 3, damage 2, breaching 6 up.
Ugh.
And if that wasn't enough, he can choose to use the talons instead. Initiative modifier +1, so he's initiative 7. Attacks modifier +2, so it's 8. Base strength 6, AP 2, damage 1, but critical hit 6 up.
Okay.
And
I mean,
he has
those-
camo line built in. And then his special rules, he's got a special gambit, but he's also got Sire of the Raven Guard. He gets if 4 or more troops, battlefield role slots in the primary detachment of this army are filled with tactical squad and or assault squad units, then all force organization slots with the troops battlefield role in this primary detachment are considered prime slots. Furthermore, if a model with the special rule is part of an army, the following special rules are granted to all models with the infantry type. Until the end of the first battle turn, all models in the army with the infantry type have moved through cover. So it's handy
Okay.
if you want to hand out that Wraith prime advantage we talked about a little earlier. Just throw it all over the place. And also allows you to move up a lot quicker. And then there's special gambit. His special gambit is called the Shadowed Lord. At the start of the focus step, ignore any negative modifiers for the focus roll for having a current wound characteristic lower than your base characteristic. If you've scored at least 1 successful hit on the opponent with the whip during the strike step, you may choose to move to the glory step after both players have resolved step 4. Even if you do not have the challenge advantage.
Okay. That can be really nice. Situationally, it can be really nice.
Yeah, he's definitely a blender if you want to choose the clause, or going first and then being able to kind of harry the opponent if he tries to use the whip.
I can see that.
All like I said, I think they're a really decent army. I think they've probably got one of the better Rite of Wars with the ability to be shrouded at all times if you're over 18 inches away. Or
Yeah, that
snapping
is
your
really
bow.
nice. That is really, really nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Okay.
I think that gambit really fits in. Well, not gambit, but that right really fits in with the whole striking from the shadows and being harder to hit, harder to see, and harder to detect and everything. It really kind of fits.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at things that Raven Guard wouldn't be putting near the front lines. It really kind of splits your army, whereas before you had to kind of split your army assembly-wise, whether they were Falcons or whatever the hell, all the random special keywords that weren't printed on the units. You kind of had to split your army up that way. This way, it's more like you split your army up with how the game plays. You've got the units that are standing back because they get the bonus, instead of having to hamstring yourself because of something else.
One thing that I've noticed over the years playing Heresy is that there's really not a lot of Raven Guard players. And I think that's kind of tragic because they're really good. They were really good in first edition. They were good in second edition. You just don't really see a lot of people playing them. I know Jack and I played against, I think it was 2 years ago, we played against a pair of people in the doubles tournament who were Raven Guard and Alpha Legion was it, Jack?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they were German, a pair of German gentlemen at Adepticon. Their army it never seemed to be where you thought it was, and it never seemed to be quite what you thought it was either. It was definitely quite an experience.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, indeed.
Especially with that reaction. I mean, if you just don't get to shoot, if you can't see your target anymore, using your base movement. I mean, remember before all those reactions were like based on initiative or based on some other value. And you could really never do anything with it. But a base Marine movement or a base assault squad movement, that could get you places.
Yeah. I know that a former cast member may actually have recently acquired a Raven Guard army, that being Jacob, one of our former hosts. He, I understand, may have acquired a Raven Guard army this weekend. So, welcome back to Heresy, Jacob.
What type of Raven Guard army?
A loyalist one, I think.
I was more where were the models possibly procured from?
I don't know anything about that part.
Okay.
I had nothing to do with that. All I know is that he and I have been messaging back and forth about Raven Guard for a bit, and he appears to have found that army this weekend and played a couple of games, and yeah, he's impressed. He likes it. So good for him.
Yeah, I picked up a Raven Guard army off a friend of mine. He kind of hit some hard times, and I remember playing against it back in 3rd edition, so I kind of wanted to make sure it didn't run off. But and I want to see if I can try to get it back into it.
That'd be cool.
Because yeah, this is definitely a nice army.
All right. Anything else to add for him, or are we off to the races with the word bearers?
I think we're off to your crazies.
They're not my crazies. I don't claim these guys in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But here we go. Starting off with the armory. Any models with the high command discipline battle or high command battlefield role and word bearers can be given a psyker and with the anathema psychic discipline, because of course they're all witchy poo and cursed with demons, and they got whispers in their blood and strangeness in their ears. Also, they all have zealous assault. If a unit which only includes models with word bearer trait and troops is selected to fill a prime force organization slot, they get this, or they can choose this. Units selected with this gain the impact strength special rule, so your despoilers can run up and punch people even better, or your assault squads can, or your attack squads can. It's kind of nice, kind of situational. I definitely wouldn't take it for anything, but for something like a despoiler or an assault squad that you're to harry people around, I would definitely consider doing that for their prime tacticals or a prime slot for a troop choice. Their Legion's Tactica is when resolving a combat in the resolution subphase of the assault phase, score 1 point for if any friendly models in that combat have the trait word bearers. So you get an additional combat resolution point at the end of a close combat. Really good for to win a tie if somehow that happens. Their gambit is Beseech the Gods. This can only be selected during the first face-off step of a challenge involving this model. If it's selected, the controlling player makes a willpower check. Again, with that, kind of like in the Raven Guard. If the check is passed at the end of this challenge phase, the model adds +1 to its strengths and attacks. If it is failed, it suffers 1 wound with AP of 2 and a damage of 1. No saves or damage mitigation roll may be made to discard the wound. Their additional detachment is the Exalted Class. Looks like, as I pull up what the chart means, that will be, I believe, 2 troops. Yeah, 2 troops, both of which are prime, and then 2 elites. Yeah, 2 elites. It says the detachment can only selected as part of a trader, and the prime advantage slots can only be used if this is the True Believer prime advantage. Or to select a True Believer prime advantage, which is what we talked about earlier. Their advanced reaction is once per battle. It's called Glorious Martyrdom. Once per battle, you can declare it during step 5 of the shooting attack of any shooting sequence attack made by the player targeting a unit with word bearers. You spend 1 point for your reaction, or 1 point of your reaction allotment, and under the until the current fire group and any fire groups that split from it have been resolved, only selected model can be selected as the target model if that model is removed as a casualty. Basically, you shoot one. All the shooting attack goes to one dude, kills that one dude. He falls over dead. No more one dude. Everybody else survives. Really good if somehow your unit's getting hammered with autocannons or blast cannons or lots of melta or lots of plasma or what have you, like to hold on to that last objective. It's good. It situationally can be a game winner or a game changer. It's definitely potent. Before we go on to the main characters, going over to the legacies, you've got your word bearer Diabolist. He is a command, not a high command. He's 105 points, 135 if you want him with a jump pack. Movement normal 7 or 12, depending if you have a pack or not. Regular stat line for a Centurion style model, except leadership 7, cool 8, willpower 10, initiative 8, and then a 2-up, 5-up. Comes with a force weapon, so he's automatically a psyker. He has really no ability to take any war gear other than the jump pack you can throw on him. His special rule is damned. A model with this special rule can join units that have the Malefic subtype. And he comes with the Diabolism discipline. You gain the following. You get Fear for your special rule, Fear 1. You get Hellfire for your psychic weapon. Dark Channeling is your psychic power and the Diabolist trait. Your weapon is range 12, firepower D3, range 7 or strength 7, AP 4, 1 damage, breaching 6, deathly great, force D. And your psychic power is your dark channeling is your blessing. You must focus it on a model with the Diabolist trait under your actual control. You must target a model with you must target a model with your active player with at least one model within 12 inches of this in line of sight, which is entirely composed with your own models, word bearers. If you manifest the psychic power, it lasts until the end of the assault phase. All models gain the Aflame 1 and Feel No Pain 6+ special rule. Having the 6+ Feel No Pain is kind of funny because, as we all know, there's not a lot of ways to get Feel No Plus or Feel No Pain at all. So that's definitely very situationally very good for them right now. You also have the same guy, the same Diabolist Terminator armor on a bike or on a jet bike, and their special unit was the Word Bearers Procurators. 100 unit or 100 points for a unit of 5. Standard Marine stat line: 1 wound, 2 attacks. Leadership, cool, willpower, and initiative are 7s, except on the sergeant, which is 8, 3-up. For armor save, no invulnerable. Bolt pistol, chainsword, Narthesium. So they have the medic 4-up rule and the flesh harvester rule. You can switch out for heavy chain swords, power weapons for 5 points for chain swords, heavy chain swords, 10 points for power weapons. For every 5 guys in the unit, one of them can have a power fist, a hand flamer, a plasma pistol, or a warp fire pistol. You get harvest. Your special rule is flesh harvester. A model with this special rule can gain flesh harvest points. You gain 1 flesh harvest point each time a unit that includes that model is selected to consolidate if any enemy models in that combat had the infantry cavalry. If the model was the Paragon type was removed as a casualty during that combat, the model with this special rule gains 2 flesh harvest points instead. If a model with any flesh harvest points is removed as a casualty, any flesh harvest points that the model has are lost. At the end of the battle, the controlling player of any models with the flesh harvester special rule score number of victory points equal the number of flesh harvest points that any one of those models selected by the controlling player currently has. So basically, if you have these guys and they run down and have killed a unit that contains characters or contains anything, you get bonus points that you can at the end of the game, if they're still on the table, convert over to victory points, which is really nice. Anything, as we all know, victory point base is a way to get bonus victory points. It's a good thing, and that's one of the few ways to get them. So that's for the legacies. I'll do Lorgar last, so I'll skip over him and move straight to Corferon. 125 for Corferon. 2 up, 5 up, movement 6, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, 3 strength, toughness, wounds, and initiative, 4 attacks, 10 leadership and cool, 9 willpower, which is funny, and you'll see why here in a minute. An intelligence of 7. He's got Dark Oratory, Jealous Command, and Slow and Purposeful for his rules. He comes with a Digi-Flamer, which is 1 firepower on a template, Strength 4, D1, Flame and Assault. And he's got the Patriarch's Claws, which are base attack, strength, and attacks, AP2, damage 1, and shred. But his he can apply special rules to friendly units in the effect sub-phase. His Dark Oratory allows him to apply select a friendly unit with only models with word bearers within 6 inches of the model. Select one of the following effects. Cruel Invective. Until the start of the controlling player's next effect sub-phase, everyone in that unit gets Hatred Loyalist. Or, same basic situation, modify the leadership and cool characteristics of all models in the selected unit by +2. So he tells people they're better than they are. And he is a high command. He's not really statted up to be a fighter. He's statted up more to be a support choice. He's not bad. He's definitely cheap. But he's not very survivable. If you get him into combat with almost any other character out there at similar points level, they're probably going to smack him around the table and kill him off pretty quickly. He's got lower strength and toughness and wounds than Praetors. He's got lower strength and toughness than regular Marines. So with the weapon skill of 5, you don't want him to be close and personal in close combat whatsoever. And his ballistic skill of 4 doesn't matter because he's only got basically a flamer. So keep him as far away from combat as possible, which is funny considering his abilities kind of help him make units better for that. So it's what it is. He also has Jealous Command. If this model with a unique subtype, if it's the only model with the unique subtype in your army, modify his leadership by +1. So that bumps his leadership to an 11, his wounds to 4. But he's still only got a willpower of 9, which is the same as Erebus's willpower, and the same as Ardal Tal's willpower, despite him being the big, high, whatever muckety muck of the word bearers. And then we have the reason that everything is bad in Heresy. That would be Erebus. At 165 points, you get a high command, movement 7, weapon skill, ballistic skill 5, strength, toughness 4, 3 wounds, 5 initiative, 3 attacks, 10 leadership and cool, willpower of 9, intelligence of 7. Should be a 4 because that would fit. Save of 2 up, invulnerable of 4 up. His special rules are Anathema Discipline, Lord of the Blessed, and Harbinger of Chaos. Yes, he is. You get the Crux Malefica, which is a initiative modifier +3 strength, AP2, damage 2, power maul that is also a psychic weapon, and it has phage strength. So it's a souped up Crozius that does a lot of nasty hits. It's pretty beefy. It makes him into a much better close combat character than you would think, despite having only a weapon skill of 5. He can join any unit because of his Lord of the Blessed. Any unit that has the Malefic subtype, he can join onto him. And his Harbinger of Chaos says an army whose primary detachment includes a model. This special rule may select demonic manifestations, auxiliary regardless of how many command, force, organization slots are filled with terrorist units. We'll get to that unit here in a few minutes. It'll make a little more sense there. Then we have Argel Tall, everybody's favorite word bearer. 240 points for movement 14, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, and initiative 5s. 6 attacks, 10 leadership, 10 cool, 9 cool, 9 willpower, and 8 intelligence. So he's actually smarter than Erebus. 2 up, 4 up. He has bulky 3, deep strike, feel no pain 5+, fear 1, and demonic talons, which are no attack modifier, his base strength, no modifier, AP 2, damage 2, and psychic weapons. And he is anti-grav. Those are 3 high command choices. You also have Zardu Layak as a regular command, who is 180 points on his own, and you can include 2 of the Ankartis Cull, which are blade slaves, remember them, at 60 points each a pop. Zardu is movement 7, whereas the blade slaves are movement 8. He's weapon skill 5, so are they. He's ballistic skill 5, they're a 4. He's strength, toughness, and wounds are all 4s. His initiative is 5, attacks are 3. They are strength and toughness 5, wounds 3, 5 initiative attacks. He's got a leadership 11, a cool of 10, willpower of 9, intelligence of 7, and 2 up, 4 up. They are leadership 10, cool 9, 4 willpower, and 4 intelligence. They're basically enslaved to his will. He has hatred, loyalists, and binder of souls. They have bulky 2, feel no pain 5 up, explodes 6+, and fear 1. He's got the Panoply of Flame, bolt pistol, and the Azur Sharis, or the Azurda Sharis. They have the Ankartis blades and plasma pistols. Both of them have a plasma pistol, so that's something there for them. His sword or staff, whatever it is, the Azurda Charis is +1 initiative, base attacks, modifier, nothing, +2 strength, AP 4, D2, and it's force for damage. And it's a psychic weapon. The blade slaves, the Ankartis blades, are no modifier to strength or attacks. They're AP 3, D2, breaching 6+, and phage strength, also their psychic weapons. And the Panoply of Flame, when resolving a combat in the resolution subphase, score 1 combat resolution for any unit that includes a model with the Panoply. So it just gives you a free point. So that's actually kind of nice. He just gives you a free extra point for having him in that combat. His special rules are that he has specific psychic powers, which are soul binding. You choose to manifest it in the assault phase. You have to target an enemy unit. Then, when it's successfully manifested, if the manifestation check is successful, the controlling power of the focus model can select willpower characteristics of 7 or less from the target unit for the duration of the psychic power. The selected model is to be considered under the control of the controlling player for the power. So he basically seizes your mind and makes you fight for combat, which is really kind of nice. They used to be really interesting in the previous edition, where the Ankartis, or Ankartis, however you want to pronounce it, would sit there and jump in front of him and would add on to other units and be able to do challenges, things like that. And they still can, because they're champions and malefic that are attached to him. So they're fun, they're exciting, they're interesting models. I really kind of like them. I don't like the character very much, but it's definitely an interesting model on the tabletop when you see it out there. They have realistically 3 units. They've got the Galvor back, which everybody loves. 250 points for your half demon, half marine guys. 50 points extra a model. They come with Tainted Talons and a Bolter. Their special rules are Bulky 2, Feel No Pain 5, Implacable Advance, Vanguard 3, and Fear 1. And for that, you get Movement 8, Weapon Skill 5, Ballistic Skill 4, Strength and Toughness of 5, 3 wounds, 5 initiative, 3 attacks, Leadership 9, Cool 8, Willpower and Intelligence of 7, and 3 up, regular armor save. Their Tainted Talons are their base strength and base attacks, AP 3, 1 damage, Breaching 6, Shred 6, and Phase Strength. So gone are the days where you could slip a power fist into the unit. Gone are the days when you could put in other heavier guns in the unit. They're still big, they're still beefy, and they still punch well above their weight in class because they're going to have the feel no pain and the toughness 5, and they're going to do a lot of punchy. Throw them in with Orbital, and you've got a really good way of running the last of the Serrated Sun again. Still. You've got the Marigal, which for Dreadnoughts is one of the only Dreadnoughts that I know of right now, if not possibly the only one that has a weapon skill of 5. It's 210 points. You don't have the ability to really add anything onto it. It comes with the Warp Fire Cannon, Tainted Claw, and Burning Warp Fire. And you get Movement 8, Weapon Skill 5, Bliss Skill 4, Strength, Toughness, and Wounds of 7, Initiative 4, 4 attacks, Leadership 12, Cool of 10, Willpower of 8, Intelligence of 5, and it's 2 up, 5 up, Bulky 6, Explodes 5 up, Fear 1, and Implacable Advantage. Its Tainted Claws are Strength modifier plus 3 and an AP of 2 with damage 3. Its Warp Fire Cannon is range 36, 1 firepower, range 6, or range strength 6, AP 4, D2, heavy, range strength, blast 3 inches, 4 up breaching, 6 plus shred. And its Burning Warp Fire is the little flamer thing inside of its Tainted Claw. It's a template, 1 shot per turn, range strength 5, AP 4, 1 damage. Its template Panic 2, which is really nice, especially since he also has Fear 1, breaching 4 up, and shred 6 plus flamer. I don't know of any other Dreadnought right now that has weapon skill 5. John, Jack, do either of you know of a Dreadnought with weapon skill 5 right now, other than him?
Telemachus, but that's it.
Does Telemachus have weapon skill 5?
I think the legacy is open. Let's pull up the word bearer stuff for you because I got a bunch of add-ons in that.
I don't think the Blood Angel Incarnus one is 5. I think that's a 4. We haven't touched on that yet. Yep. So he is literally right now the only one skill 5, which fits. I mean, he is 210 points with no other weapon, with no other war gear, just running around and smacking people. I mean, it works. Then we have our Ashen Circle, 125 points, 20 additional points a model. You get 5. You can have 5 guys added onto it at 20 points per. Comes at 5. They're jump pack Marines with movement 12, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness 4, 1 wound, 4 initiative, 2 attacks base, 8s for their cool and leadership, 7s for the willpower and intelligence, except for on their sergeant. The Iconoclast is a 9 leadership and cool, 3 up armor save. Like most jump troops, they're bulky. Bulky 2, Vanguard 3, so they're the guys who you want to push guys off of objectives with. Deep Strike, Harbingers of Truth, and Bitter Duty. The Iconoclast, which is their sergeant, can have its hand flamer exchanged for Inferno Pistol for 15 points, and you can get him. The Iconoclast can also get Phosphex bombs for him for 10 points. They come with axe rakes and hand flame, or acotic hand flamers. The Inferno Pistol is really nice. Actually, I really like that. It's range strength, so you're going to be using it only really up close where you want these guys anyway. Firepower 1, strength 8, AP 2, D1, pistol, melt of 3. Cook stuff and watch it burn. The regular hand flamers are template, firepower 1, strength 4, AP 4, 1 damage, template pistol, and panic 2. So they're really scaring everybody off with their flamers when they. But before, I believe in last edition, they had Torrent, where you actually could shoot them out the 12 inches or however long before you actually threw down that template. Now they don't have that, so you just got regular templates. Either way, it's still a good unit.
Yeah, it seems everybody lost Torrent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most things that had it did. And their axe rakes, I really like, actually. Unlike most chain axes, which is, neither here nor there, these don't have an initiative modifier. They don't have an attack modifier. They are +1 strength. Their AP is 3, and they have 1 damage. Critical hit 6+, and phage from movement. So they're really good at chopping people down, holding them here, and making it harder for them to run away from you. Their special rules being the Harbinger of Truth. They improve the firepower characteristic of Acadic Flame Flamers in the volley step. When a model with this special rule makes a volley attack, models by +1. So you get 2 shots with all those damn flamers when you are making volley attacks. And it doesn't say only when you're shooting them as the attacker. So if someone's charging you and you're making your own volley attacks back, that's you're still improving to 2 templates per dude. That's a lot of fire. Anything that's going to survive all that flaming is going to have to be pretty beefy to be able to face these guys following all that and be able to stand up in close combat. And last, and certainly least, we have Lorgar. 445 points. Lorgar. Primarch of the Word Bearers, the Aurelian, the Golden, the Voice of Truth. The author of the Lictitio Divinitatis. Movement 8, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, initiative is all 6. 5 attacks, leadership 12. Cool 11, willpower 10, initiative 10, 2 up. Sorry, intelligence 10. 2 up and 4 up. He's got a luminarium, his mace, maul, and devotion, which is his pistol. You get Sire of the Word Bearers, bulky 4, anathema discipline, hatred loyalists. The power of the word, and eternal warrior 2. Oh, he's also a psyker. His pistol, he's range 12, firepower 1, range strength 8, AP 2, D2. It is a shock pinning gun, pinning 0, and it's a graviton weapon. His mace has a strength modifier of +2, an AP of 2, damage of 3, critical hit 5, it's phasing strength away, and reaping blow 2, which is really nice. Considering he only really has 5 attacks, anything that's going to help him be able to be more punchy is definitely acceptable. His weapon skill is only a 6, so he's not really the best for close combat. He's only got the weapon skill of a Praetor. He's not stacking up close combat-wise against most of his brothers and coming out on top, to be honest. Jack, are you awake?
No.
No, Jack's gone to sleep, everybody. It's okay. He can only join units, he can join units because of the power of the word that have the malefic subtype. And as the Sire of the Word Bearers, if a model with the special rule is part of the army, you get the following modifiers. If 4 or more troops battlefield rolled slots in the primary detachment of this army are filled with despoiler squads or tactical squads, then all FOC slots with the troops battlefield roll in the primary detachment are considered prime. Further, if a model with this rule is in the army, all models with the Word Bearer trait in the same army until the end of the first battle turn of the battle, each time the controlling player of a model with the special rule is required to make a check for that unit that includes only models with the Word Bearer trait, that leadership check is automatically passed. So that is very nice. And my phone is blowing up for some reason. I don't know why. Give me one moment. So you don't. Oh, hey, look, Jack's awake. I don't know why that happened. He's not that great of a boy. Lorgar isn't. He's effective, but not quite as effective as others. But the ability to have all his guys pass leadership tests on turn 1, which is typically when you're jumping onto those objectives if you're going first, and when they're then jumping on to punch you off of it, means you're not going to be failing those leadership tests. You're not going to get punched off of those. So he's definitely got some benefits there. Close combat wise, he's like I said, he's got Praetor level weapon skill. He's not a giant on the battlefield, but he is still very, very effective. Other than Ardal Tall, all of their characters are primarily support based. So they do everything to make their guys become more of a workhorse and better overall in the effect. And I think that's kind of what actually makes them really good in several ways. Obviously, it's the troops that win the battle. It's the troops that win the game. It's the guys on the field that are not the characters that are going to cause the point swings one way or another. Yes, the characters are the ones who are sitting there doing the challenges, fighting everything, and are remembered in the novels and in the fluff, but it's the boots on the ground, regular guys are the ones who are actually taking the objectives, scoring the points, and winning the game for you. And the fact that their characters are all about buffing their dudes really makes them more effective. I think that building an army of word bearers, focusing on tactical marines, and only including a light sporadic inclusion of their special guys, like the Gal Vorback or the Margal or the guys with the act rakes. They're really not all that important.
Yeah,
I did.
You want to cover okay.
Yeah, I talked about those right at the beginning. That was the despoilers and the Diabolist.
There's 12 different types of Diabolist in the Legacies units.
Yeah.
And then there's the
I talked about them. Yeah, I talked about them. The guys with the if they chase people down, you score the victory points as long as that unit's not destroyed at the end of the game. Yeah, those are the first things I mentioned, I believe.
Flesh Harvest. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, Flesh Harvest guys. Yeah, I think they can taking the generic units out of the book and sprinkling some of their stuff in from the actual entries that they have. I think they can be very potent, very functional, and downright kind of scary at times in how efficient they can be when you buff them up. That's my read on the word bearers. They're good because of all their generic guys. They're flavorful because of their leadership. And that about sums it up. I definitely see why they would have a significant problem or be significantly problematic for the Ultramarines to beat. Because on even footing, the Ultramarines and them both are focusing on buffing their own dudes, buffing the regular guys, the boots on the ground. They're not focused on the hero hammer part. Whereas things like the Sons of Horus, it's all about that martial pride in the characters. Blood Angels, you're all about the characters that can go out there and beat face and own the world. These guys are just boots on the ground good. And it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's 9:50 at this point, but that covers up the Raven Guard and the Word Bearers. I don't think we have anything else scheduled for tonight, do we?
No, we don't. But I was thinking, do we want to take another break next week and talk about militia?
I think we probably should, since we now have militia and demons. We could probably break it into a break from the actual Marine units and talk about both of those, because the demons one is really quick.
Well, the problem is the militia one's really long. I was thinking what we could do is
okay. Let's talk militia next week.
Yeah, let's talk about militia, and we'll also each one of us will kind of make a theme. You don't necessarily have to make an army list, but like a theme idea around the providences and what you would build.
Around the providences and what we would build for militia.
Yep. It's like taking
like building a squad army.
Yeah, like what you would take to build a squad army.
Okay. I think we can do that. I think that could be kind of a fun little thing. I don't know much about him, so I guess I'm going to have to go read some nonsense. So that'll be fun.
We only got to read the first 20 or so pages. You're in luck. I got to read the whole thing because there's a lot of new guns in there.
Well, there you go. There we go. Well, we can probably split it up if it's a lot for one person. We can split it up between the two of us. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'll work on it offline, but I definitely think that way, it also gives us a chance to talk to somebody about what the next Legions will be as well.
Yep, because we definitely will have to figure that one out as well. All right, then. Well, let's see here. To our friends down in Warzone Houston who attended this weekend, I hope you had fun. I hope everybody got to attend that who wanted to. And I hope that the charity auction raised lots of charity raffle for that Salamander's Army raised some money. The victims of the flooding down there in Texas. That'd be really good. I know our friend.
Beautiful army.
Yes, it was. And I know our friend Brian, another friend of the show, was down at what was the event he was at? I don't remember its name.
Wasteland Wars.
Yeah, Wasteland Wars. I know there was a lot of really cool looking armies out there. I don't know if there was a lot of Heresy out there, and he was playing his Space Wolves out there, so I hope he had fun with that. I don't know of any current events coming up immediately other than the event you are running in January. I do know that the Kentucky 30K group on the 27th of September is hosting at the Battle Forge a Heresy Day. That'll be here in Lexington, Kentucky at the Battle Forge. I know that there's stuff going on down in the Bama Heresy. I know they're holding another play day soon. Hopefully some people can go out for that if they want to learn how to play Heresy, if they got it mostly figured out by now. John, you know of any events going on that we haven't shouted at?
There's a Fierix coming up in November, but I don't think there's any info yet. And then obviously I've got my monthly events coming up. The 20th is going to be at some other place right now. Dallas Games Marathon, like I said, they're moving, so they're kind of sponsoring all their normal events. Like this weekend, there was a bunch of D&D stuff scheduled, so they ran it out of a hotel. So he's trying to find us a spot that's going to fit for the usual crowd that we get. So it's going to be kind of TBD, but like I said, I'll post in the North Texas Heresy Facebook page if anyone's planning on coming. I'll update the location for that when I know more.
Sounds good. Well, then at this point, John, you want to go ahead and take us out of here?
Yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us on this, the 140th episode of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. We've almost caught up to RFI.
Ooh, that's scary. How many episodes did they have?
177.
Ah, okay. So we're getting close.
Yep.
We're getting close.
I'm John, and tonight I've been joined by
Duncan.
Jack.
And we appreciate everyone for listening to us, and thanks for all our sponsors and our patron members. And always remember to stay accountable to your friends, to your buddies, and your hobby. And we'll talk to you later.
There you go.
Like and subscribe, and see ya.